And then there's the theory that there's other aliens that are actually, they're around us, but they live in different dimensions. So we only see them in kind of like psychedelic trips. And so there's a thing, I've done, I brought up ayahuasca a bunch here. In ayahuasca, DMT trips, heavy mushroom trips, a lot of people have alien surgery, dream-like experience. We are on the zoo. I got my peeps over here. That's Nikki P and that's AK Lopez. I got them confused. I'm Roberto Guida. You can call me
Happens
Ubi.
a lot.
Hey, everybody. I'd like to think that we're aliens.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And all kinds of ways, right?
Sure.
Same.
And that brings us to today's
Big deal.
You know where that's from? The Wayne's World. By the way, they're doing it back. All right, we're back on the, and we're talking, all right, UFOs. So, dude, it's happening.
Do they exist?
Oh,
Are they
yes.
here? Are they here now?
Yeah.
They're watching us.
So, there's a thing called disclosure, right? People have been talking about this for years in the UFO community. And actually, I've interviewed people from MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. There's actually a lot of Latinos involved, to be honest with you. It's actually not surprising or not surprising. Before your times on the zoo, we actually had one of the leading chapter of MUFON is a Mexican guy, and we had him on the show. And they're like, the government is obviously slowly but surely letting information out to be like, hey, you know what? Let's prepare everybody so they don't freak out. Right? How'd you feel? I mean, what was it like last year where the Pentagon released like those videos of the Tic Tac and they admitted we don't know, that's not ours and we don't know what that is?
Was it last year?
Yeah.
I feel like it was 2020 when like Trump was in office and he was disclosing a bunch of things.
Well, I don't think Trump had much to do with it, but the Pentagon came out.
Yeah, it might have been early last year.
Well, well, every president, going back to Bill Clinton, has famously said, yeah, the first thing I ask are aliens real? And they never really said what the answer was.
Okay.
How'd you feel? Do you believe in aliens, first of all? Do you believe that there's
I do, yes. Okay. There's no way we're the only ones that exist.
But do you believe it more now in the past couple of years with all these videos and the whole government kind of being like, they're not saying there's aliens, they're just saying, okay, we don't know what that is.
I think I always kind of had like curiosity towards it with like Area 51. And of course, who knows if there's aliens there, but it's like, what is that? Why are they hiding things? And I do believe they would hide it if they were to find something. But I feel like I believe them. Mm-hmm.
I believe in aliens. I would date an alien. I am done with human beings.
I would
be the first interrational. I will be the
intergalactic.
I will be the first intergalactic relationship. I'm ready. For a large amount of time, like it kind of was like, it's not true, but there was that inkling that it could be. But now it just seems like it's really happening. But why did they wait so long?
When I believed it, when they did what they called it, the Galactic Force or something like that?
The Galactic Federation.
Yeah, I was like, why are you creating a federation all of a sudden?
Oh, Space Force, you mean?
Yeah, there we go, that.
But don't you think it's weird that the aliens waited this long? What have they been waiting on to really?
No, but I'll tell you. Okay, so because you ask facetious questions, but I have real answers.
Yes.
So, okay, a little bit of background context. There has been UFO sightings for centuries. In fact, there's a couple of paintings from like the Middle Ages where there's supposedly some UFOs in the background, and there's always, people also point to early civilizations like the Sumerians, some of the first civilizations that we know of. Well, they believed in a thing called the Anunnaki, and whether they were reptilian or not, it's kind of now we're getting to like David Icke like conspiracy theory that there's these reptilian extraterrestrials that have invaded our power structure.
We won't specify the type of alien.
No,
just
but UFO sightings for real really started after World War II. The theory is that it's when we unleashed the nuclear bomb. When we unleashed the nuclear bomb, supposedly that alarmed, extraterrestrial civilizations, in this galaxy. Okay, those apes, they've kindly figured out like some next level technology.
They evolved a little bit.
Yeah, and before they destroy themselves, let's kind of start taking a look at them, started peeking them. So in the late 40s and 50s, when we had Roswell, there was a bunch of UFO sightings, including here in LA. There was supposedly above the Hollywood Hills, there was Air Force planes that were shooting at something. To this day, they don't say what it was, Mm-hmm. So, so the theory is that once we unleashed nuclear bombs, that's when we got the attention. And it's like, oh, we're not just an ant pile making a cute little anthill with hallways and,
Right.
and now we're, you know.
Civilization.
Right. And I
Yeah.
know there's been like documentation and paintings and stuff, but don't you feel like in the last 3 years they've really let themselves be shown more than they ever have before?
No, the government is showing us footage they've had. Like, look, the videos that were released were old.
Releasing them. Mhm.
The video that released, the famous Tic Tac one, where it just has this little white Tic Tac just going
Yeah.
pew, 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 pew in a way that our technology that we know of can't do. That was from like 10, 12 years ago. The Pentagon is starting to release them, which people think they're doing it to prepare us so that we don't have a panic attack
Yeah.
when it turns out that, oh yeah, there are
They're not
extraterrestrials
gonna like
and they've
drop.
been visiting us.
Yeah.
I love those specials though where the people get abducted by aliens and then one lady was like, you know, I felt sore in certain areas. Did you ever see that on Netflix?
Well-
she was claiming that the aliens.
A lot of them have the same. Look, a lot of people that have abducted alien stories, they do have a lot of things, and they are probing things where they're kind of like, you know, looking at. Now, you know, a lot of people think there's different aliens. One of them is the Greys, and supposedly the Greys are like super evolved, so they're just heads. They're all androgynous, so they have no, you know, sexual organs. They reproduce by telepathy or something, and so I think they're just curious, you know.
I mean, can you imagine being the person that gets abducted and doesn't get probed? Like that has to hurt so
But
bad.
I will say this: I think a lot of people too with abducted alien.
Don't project.
If I get abducted and I'm not sore in any areas,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, I would actually be offended. I'm like,
I'd be like,
Wow.
I mean,
I'm not good enough to get tentacled. Come
but
on.
I will. Okay, so there's another theory that there's physical aliens from other planets that come here with technology that we have, right? And then there's a theory that there's other aliens that are actually they're around us, but they live in different dimensions, so we only see them in kind of like
That's
psychedelic trips,
crazy.
and so there's a thing I've done. You know, I brought up ayahuasca a bunch here. You know, in ayahuasca DMT trips, you know, heavy mushroom trips, a lot of people have alien surgery dream-like experience where they're like and I've had it too, where they're like just surrounded by like these beings that are just kind of like you're like on an operating table and nothing's really happening to you. They're just kind of like scoping you out. So the theory is you're accessing these different dimensions and you're accessing these aliens kind of just scoping you out. But if you have that like in a dream, you might come back and now maybe it actually is happening to you in a different dimension. What do you think about this?
No, I do. That's the part that kind of freaks me out sometimes too, where like as humans we only perceive a certain light threshold or like a auditory.
tiny little
Yeah,
amount.
that. So what else is out there? You
So
know, they
much.
could be like, I don't know, something right here, and like
Right.
even with like hearing, and so like dogs can perceive, I think,
Right.
have better hearing than we do, and that's why they get scared more often.
And certain bees can see colors that we can't see on the spectrum.
So I do think that's possible, totally possible.
There's even string theory says there's like 5 other dimensions, but people think that that the other dimensions are outside of us. No, the other dimensions are wrapped within our dimension. We just can't sense it because we live in this 3-dimensional dense, and we're sober so that we can get done. To be honest with you, editor, get that one out. All right, I don't want to have to make a note about it afterwards. Just listen to the show and bleep me out. Anyway, so, you know, I convinced my friends in high school, like under the influence of like, you know, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, that I was an alien.
Oh
Really?
my God.
How'd they take it?
They were convinced. In fact, I have a little alien tattoo here. That I got, my first tattoo is a little alien
From the
here.
mothership.
Well, that because they were
identifier.
convinced. I'm like, I'm from somewhere else. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, and they're like, I knew it.
Wow.
All right, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back and we're gonna talk to Super Snake, one of the most controversial Instagram meme pages out there. We'll be right back. Peace.